IPMNation.com.
Good morning to everyone here on IPMNation.com. We're getting ready to kick it off over on Facebook. Thank you so very much for making me your virtual hitchhiker this morning. I truly appreciate it. It really is an honor to be hanging out with you. All right, here we go. Man, there's so much to get to today. Welcome, and thank you for stopping by the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com, episode 253 of The Gong Heard Round the World. Thank you very much. You're into All Natural Being, live here on IPMNation.com and on Facebook with rebroadcast on iTunes and iHeartRadio. Greetings wherever you are here in the Garden of the Mortals. We're coming to you, as it happens, from the Outpost Studios in beautiful suburb of Columbus, Ohio, where we're always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list. So all natural being is like a battle cry for your brain. We're placing your primal scream, that still small voice, the little whisper, we're placing it front and center in your life because we believe it's time to reboot your robust, to find your ferocious, to out-brutal the brutal that is the cut and shuffle that fate deals you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. Because where's it gotten you to slight your bright? But before we get, and we have a lot to get into today, before we get into it all, I want to say hello, and again, a very special thank you to my friends here in the States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, my good friends in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Sweden, Israel, also South Africa, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands. To those joining us from all over the globe, it's great to have you with us. I truly am fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be your biggest fan, to be avidly you. So what do you say? What are we doing this morning? We're surfing your psychology to see if it fits you the way you should. Because it's time to mortal up. Kind of think of it as political correctness corrected. And we're going to get to all that here in a little bit. But for right now, let's go kick in some doors. All right. Well, I wanted to quickly say thank you to all of our early launch team listeners that joined us last night for our Thursday night webinar. I think we came away with the understanding that one of the bonuses from the brain tumor is that I'm mentally unstable. Well, we had a really good time on the Thursday night webinar last night, so thank you for everyone that joined us. It was a blast, and yes, I think we came away that with the thought that I'm not dealing with a full deck. Go figure, right? But here's what we did come away with. Here's what we are sure of: that all natural being is humanity's last hope. Because when you look at everyone masquerading as human minds these days, right, where everyone wants to validate your victimhood, you're a victim of everything. No one wants to go, nah, you're really a victor. If you made it here and you were given a human mind, you're in a pretty good place. They don't want that, right? And ultimately, that rock bottom is the only foundation for true human confidence. And that it's not done without your decision. So, however tough the cut and shuffle of fate can be in our daily lives, however much we truly have to out-brutal the brutal in our day in and day out, it's not done until we decide it's done. And that rock bottom, it truly is the perfect place to bounce back, to ricochet, if you will. And putting your heart's highest priority, top of your list, regardless of the critic's spew, regardless of everything that everyone else is doing, to try to validate your victimhood. Because, as I said in the open, where's it gotten us to slight our bright? A lot of people to thank this morning before we jump into the feed as well, but let's just talk about that for a second. Right? Where it's become almost vogue for everyone to freak out on the opinions, the outrage of the fragile in life. They just seem habituated to intrusion. You can't do anything. And you know who I'm talking about, busy sticking their feet out, trying to trip you, hoping you'll step on their toes so they can be all outraged by your incendiary comments and all the rest. So I like to think, we're talking this morning, as we did last evening, about brawling with Brawdy, one of the segments we're kicking around here. And we're talking about just, the tinder boxes with feet that troll, just even you and I at times. But those external trolls, right? Remember? I'm going to show this one more time. We got all kinds of stuff to show this morning, but we're working. Troll alert, troll alert, troll alert. See, I told you. Yeah, mentally unstable, right? Troll alert, troll alert. All right, you get where I'm going with that. So what is it that we do to troll ourselves? What is it we do to tolerate these tinder boxes with feet? Right? What do we do to tolerate it externally? But then internally, what do we do to tolerate that in ourselves? What if we're the very tinder boxes? And ultimately, we decided last evening that we in fact are. If you find a comment to be incendiary, guess who the combustible is? Guess who the kindling is? Guess who the dry sticks and weeds are? You're trying to stoke a fire. Unless you're the combustible, how is it incendiary? And maybe more importantly, why the hell are you combustible? When you look around, right, that everybody and their brother, we're just clothed in crankiness, can't say anything to anybody. Anybody's ready to go to guns. Just bellicose has become, right, the new thing. But what does that do in terms of the bandwidth? What does that do to take away from your calling, your destiny, putting your heart's highest priority top of the list? All right, speaking of putting my heart's highest priority top of the list, I want to do this. I want to thank my good friend Kenny. Let me do this over here so you can see it. I want to thank my good friend Kenny Ballard. He's the CEO of a T-shirt and what is it? It's like a hooded sweatshirt company called The Mountain, themountain.com, for sending me all kinds of cool gear yesterday. And I thought, it's just not, you think, it's just hooded sweatshirts, some really cool mugs. Here's one, the yin yang of wolves. Really cool. Hey, Kenny knows who I am, so he's got it. And then another yin yang, some tree leaves, really cool mugs. But then you can get T-shirts, right? You can get some cool T-shirts, all kinds of designs, and the quality is just impeccable. And these are artists that are hired to do the artwork just for these items. And then this really cool one here, again, the yin yang of the wolves. Right. Oh, and there's all kinds of stuff at themountain.com, but I want to do this real quick if I could. They even have duffels, like satchels, what would you call them? So, like if you're going to the grocery store and you don't want the plastic bags, right, you could take one of these cool bags with you and fill your groceries, and you don't have to worry about contributing, right? There's another yin-yang symbol. So I want to thank Kenny Ballard and the good folks at themountain.com. Themountain.com. Good morning, sir. Do you want to come say hello real quick? All right. Come on up here. I see you have Puddles with you. Very good. You want to say good morning? Good morning. Okay, hold on. Let me do it this way so that they can see your smile. We're going out over here and go like this and go. What do you got to say? Good morning. Good morning. Everyone look straight ahead. There you go. I know it's good. Okay, now we'll go. Now look straight ahead. Good morning. All right, buddy. Thank you for coming and joining us. I appreciate it. So, again, thank you to Brooks for making a cameo, and also a speaking part, and Kenny Ballard and the good folks at The Mountain for the cool hooded sweatshirts. But as I said, the duffel bags, the T-shirts, there's all kinds of cool stuff. So if you get a chance to head on over there and say hello to the good folks at themountain.com. Just really high-quality stuff, and I can't thank you enough. It was really cool to get the package. All right, let's hop into the thread because we've got all kinds of things to go over this morning, but I want to jump right into it. See what everyone's up to. There we go. We're in here. So where are we? Oh, Marcellus, good morning. Henry, good morning. Ian, good afternoon. Nice to see you. John, as always, from the sound of it, psychologists worldwide claim that none of us are playing with a full deck. Thank you, John. Psychologists worldwide have decided that Brian's playing with even less than half a deck, I guess, right? That's what we're doing. Fortunately, I've learned to keep a few cards up my sleeve. That's a great way of looking at it, John. Great way. Thank you very much. Good morning to Lee. Lee, nice to see your smile pop up, sir. Hope everything's going well. Marcellus, good morning to you. Also, Brawling with Brawdy. An Irish segment. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Marcellus. Mary, hello to you as well. Like the shirt. You know what, John? I did too. It was very nice of Kenny. Kenny's been a big wig at outdoor adventure gear companies for a lot of years, and I know him from there. But it was nice because I was complaining about sometimes it gets kind of cold in the studio. So he sent me some hooded sweatshirts. But these designs are just beautiful. And I don't understand a lot about the process, but if you go to themountain.com, there's individual artists that they contract to, to make these really cool things. To put these, maybe that's a better angle to do it. To put up some of these duffels and some of these really cool, as I said, the sweatshirts and everything else. So it's just not like, here's a print, I think I'll get it on a shirt. They hire artists. Yeah, I've never looked better on camera, have I? They say, Bri, you're just a talking head. But in any event, themountain.com, I wanted to thank them. So, John, thank you. I appreciate it. Janice, good morning. I will let him know, John. He likes to make the cameo. Come down with Puddles, his favorite stuffed animal. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. And Henry, thank you so much for last evening. We really did have a blast. Had a bunch of people on that just said, yeah, Bri, you're just nuts. And so... But we had a really good time kicking around the pathology of the peer review. Now, not all peer review, but simply saying that we don't always have to look for thumbs up or thumbs down. We don't always have to turn to the committee vote to decide, right, how we're going to live our life. If peer review decides that we should or shouldn't put our hearts highest priority, top of the list, and all I'm suggesting is why wait for the vote to come in, right? What is it now? What do they do in precincts? The polling number. What are the polling numbers that are coming in? Why wait for the polling numbers? Put your heart's highest priority top of your list. As John says, have some extra cards up your sleeve. I love it. Reminds me, John and Jan, you'll know of this story, but I remember not in the distant past playing. Good golly, dominoes. I remember playing dominoes with my mom, and she would win all the time, just all the time. And then finally we'd come to find out she had a little stash of dominoes taped up underneath the table, and she would just go, and then, look over there, look at the bird on the back porch. And then she'd miraculously get whatever domino she needed. So that part, let me make sure. I'm always worried whenever I get, hey, I'm listening. It says your frequency, put it on 5K to thresholds 3. Okay, thank you very much. De-esser. All right, so excuse me 1 second here. Frequency, threshold. All right, let's try this. See if that sounds any better. Santi, thank you very much. So here's what we're doing. We're working with some audio techs, and he just texted me saying, hey, I'm listening. And can you, where it says frequency, put it on 5K and thresholds to 3? I think that's what I got, brother. I think that's what I got. All right. We're doing that now. Let me know if that's any better. Sante, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. If the leaders are playing with a full deck, perhaps they should throw away the deck of cards and play with the empty box. It's funny that you mention, Henry, empty box, because when I wrote the little piece that said, all natural being is truly humanity's last hope, and I thought about Pandora and the myth and what was left behind when all the travails were let loose on the planet, what was left behind? Hope. So all natural being, going back to who you truly are at your core, is humanity's last hope. Kelly, good morning. Nice to see you. Sounds good here. Didn't notice anything. Okay, thank you, Janice, very much. All right, there we go. So now we'll try that. All right, so what we're kicking around then is this whole concept of making sure that if hope is the last thing we have left, it's the hope of your all-natural being, of your true cognition. Not, as I said earlier, clothed in crankiness, but your true cognition, your all-natural being. John says, yes, they need to toss the deck and play with the empty box. I agree. Well, here's the only thing, John, and Henry, and Janice, and Kelly, Marcellus. As you know, a couple hundred years ago, we could go, well, we got to get on top of this. We don't want people running around with spears and swords and, creating havoc in the countryside. Well, now some of these brainiacs have nuclear weapons, right? So we're talking about, and I loved it over at themountain.com, there was this little thing that says extinction is forever. Well, how about extinction of a true human mind? How about the extinction of your all-natural being? And one of the things that I've been dealing with of late is when we get, they're having a hard time stopping the spinal fluid leak, which I think is a part of just a part of what I'm dealing with. But in any event, what it makes me realize is that, well, I may not be here forever. So why would we stand by then? If you're like me and you think, you know what, I'm not going to live forever, why would we be exploited? Why would we rent our minds? Why would we give a vacancy to people that are just going to come in and spray paint around the room? Why would we do that? Why would we allow the verbal graffiti? Why would we allow, right? Verbal, we talked about free radicals yesterday. Why would we allow those verbal free radicals to ricochet around inside our minds? Ultimately, we get to decide who we let in. I think it was Loretta said last week, if you open the front door and you let them in, then I say we just open the back door and show them the way right out. Oh, please, right through, like a maitre d'. All right, come right through. Let me also take some time to thank our friends at tryh2.com. One of the things that's been very helpful to me in aiding my recovery is the hydration units and the inhalation units. And I get an email. I started doing some research. Sound great. Just taking the sibilants to make it better. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I've been using some of this molecular hydrogen because the reports are just stacking up now. Over 700 of them that say, look, you got to get molecular hydrogen in to kind of give your immune system a boost. So if you get a chance, head on over to tryh2.com, learn some of the things that they have. It's an honor to have them as a sponsor of the show, and to be honest with you, to help in prolonging my extinction. John says the extinction of the human mind seems to be the goal of many world leaders. John, where have you been all my life? Absolutely agreed with you. Right? And everyone says, oh, don't worry. We were like that old Greyhound commercial when we were younger. Go Greyhound and leave the driving to us. And I think it's absolutely the extinction. Right? It's absolutely the extinction of the human mind that they're all pandering for. Because then what happens, right, is that they go, oh, we're in control. Don't worry about it. We'll drive the bus. Well, what if they're no good at driving the bus? Just look around. And then you look at some of the totalitarian regimes that are on, and I'm thinking, well, that's the ego front and center. Right? That's the egoic stress. We talked about oxidative stress yesterday when that happens within the human body and how free radicals just run amok. And they're the beginnings of all these different diseases. Well, how about philosophical free radicals? And is there really any totalitarian regime stronger than our ability to exploit ourselves? Our ability to listen to that inner troll? In a seminary for the last few years, the extinction of the human mind seems to be the goal of the world. John, absolutely agreed. Is there any totalitarian regime stronger or greater than how you keep your own heart in check, how we keep our own minds from putting our hearts highest priority, top of our list, from placing our primal scream front and center in our lives? Again, as I ask every morning for the next 20 minutes, what would you do if you stopped, no longer interested in the committee vote, no longer interested in the sugar of your marketplace, selling you your sense of self? What would you do? What would you become? And that's what I'm so fired up about. And that's why I say I'm backing you, that I'm your biggest fan, because your all-natural being, that ability, once you hit rock bottom, it's not done until you decide it is. And why would you give in? Why would you turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to who you ultimately are? So in any event, that's kind of like a recap of what we were talking about last evening. And a little more about these sanctimonious rage-offs, right? That there's no reason for us to want to, well, there's all the reason in the world for us to want to envelop in them, but, right? Because it's just great energy. You hear some of the things that people are saying, and you're going, are you kidding me? I saw one this morning. Just hear me out on this. I saw a quick tweet come in this morning. Oh, you know what? Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you very much. You know, always busy. Just joined Messenger. Always busy, pandering for shares with the prayer bowl. Henry says, most follow the social manifest because they believe they are following the acceptable norm and they fit in. They don't realize that the social manifest is the extinction of the human mind. And I would say, Henry, in addition to that, it's the difference between natural and normal. That it happens, that it's the static quo, that it happens day in and day out. That makes it normal, doesn't make it natural. The name of the show, the name of the concept isn't All Normal Being. All you got to do is go on the internet to see All Normal Being. I love that thing. I do too, John, just for you. It's not All Normal Being. It's All Natural Being. And our ability to make sure that our heart's highest calling rises to the top of our list. Because then we give everyone else permission to do it. But instead, we buy into this pathology of thought. At least the pathology of binge thinking. And it doesn't leave us enough bandwidth to listen to our own heart. So what would you do? Thank you very much, John. I love it too, I got to tell you. And this was the prayer bowl that my friend Charlie brought me in the hospital when I was busy going in for my brain surgeries. So it has a special meaning to me as well. So thank you, Charlie, for that very well. Also, thank you to the friends at themountain.com and tryh2.com. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as we're getting into it this morning, these sanctimonious rage-offs we were talking about, right? These just trigger events for the lonely. Because think about it. If you want to get into that type of battle, it's just that you need the energy. You want the attention. So you're a little lonely and you go, yeah, why don't I go out on the internet and troll this idea or that idea? Like the one I saw this morning on Twitter, where a professor says he's going to start giving, and I don't know the percentages, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but he's going to give, because of all the male privilege in life, he's going to start giving females across the board, let's say, a 10% boost in their grade to balance. Talk about Meshuggah, to balance out, to level the playing field. And I've often wondered about that. I'm interested what you were going to say about the tweet. Sorry, Kelly. It takes me a little bit of... Sometimes it takes me a while to get around to it. But the tweet was, and it had to deal with a professor going, okay, if you're a woman in my class, here's an extra 10, 15, 20% to add on to your grade so that we can balance out all the benefits you get in our society from being a male. And then I thought, well, I don't know. And I would love, Kelly, I would love to get your opinion. Janice, if you're still here, I would love to get your opinion as well. If it were me, just me, Mary, if you're here, I'd love to get your opinion. If it were me, just me, I wouldn't want someone saying that I'm so dearth, I'm so behind, I'm so inept that here's an extra 20% just to, here's some training wheels, here's some water wings just to get you to be able to compete. And could there be greater hate speech than suggesting that just because you're a female, you need help in leveling the playing field? Not the females I know. So in this morning's tweet, Kelly, they were just saying, oh no, he's going to go ahead. And I go, well, who would stand for that? Like reverse sexism, I guess you could call it. And if we needed more of an example of the trolls attempting, for whatever reason, to kind of counterbalance some of their inadequacies, now we're going to, as college professors, we're going to go ahead and give extra points because you perceive that the playing field's uneven. The women I know have never stood for the playing field being uneven, and they've pushed through it. So that's an example of what we're up against. That would be all normal being, given everything going on in the world today. But we're talking about all natural being. Henry, I think you're absolutely right. It's all a part of the separation game, right? It's all a part of the division. Because here's the thing. We talked about this, I believe, yesterday. If not yesterday, then Tuesday. But this distraction away from who we ultimately are, the distraction from your superhuman status, the distraction from blending your all-natural being, from, right, from the amalgamation of your authentic vigor and your buried logic, the blending of those, the dovetailing of your heart's rhythm with your head's rhythm. I think there's a lot of people that fear that happening. So what can they do? Hello, Davey Neal. Thank you for joining us. What can they do? They can continue to divide us, because then we're busy fighting. We're using our bandwidth on the division, and we're not using our bandwidth to put our heart's highest priority top of the list. So one of the things that we can do is stand up to that division. And as Henry and I discuss throughout the week, the problem is we got a little satellite office to that division lurking around inside of us, and it's called the ego. Right? That little satellite office of the division where the ego goes, oh yeah, they're right. It is unfair. Everything in life is unfair. Right? We can't help being targeted by fate. We can't help the cut and shuffle that we're dealt with. We can't help the brutal that comes, but we can out-brutal the brutal. We can absolutely help when it comes to the counterpunch, what we're going to stand for, what we're going to tolerate. It's not done until you decide it's done. Rock bottom, what does that mean? Nothing. Right? It's like imagine it as a trampoline. It's the perfect platform to ricochet off of and bounce back to put your heart's highest priority top of your list. Joshua Lyons, nice to see you, brother. Nice to see your name pop up. Hope all's well. It's been a while since we've spoken. Hope everything's going great for you. We're talking this morning about this whole concept of the blowback around us, right? Of the fragile and their freak out du jour. What are they going to be offended by today? What are they going to be, right? The incendiary comments. Well, again, just going back to the science. Good morning, Janelle. Nice to see you as well. Doug Harmon. Hope the headaches are better, brother. Nice to see you. Right? We're talking about the fragility and their freakouts. And what are we going to do? That's why we call it here on the show, the backlash of the blacklisted. Because people don't want you saying the things that we say in All Natural Being. There's a whole course of people that go, oh, no, you can't listen to that. And why be that tinderbox? People go, oh, I'm outraged. I'm offended. I'm just wounded. I'm disgusted. Well, why be that tinderbox? Because for someone to be able to throw an incendiary comment, you need to be made up of burnables, right? You need to be made up of twigs and dry leaves and little sticks and kindling and whatnot. Well, you and I could also decide not to be made up of those combustibles. Good, Doug. I'm glad to hear it. Glad it's better. Right? Let's just decide not to be made up of those combustibles. Let's not run around with little taped on bags of gasoline so that as soon as the comment's incoming, well, there's your fire. That might be all normal being, but it's not all natural being. Not all natural being at all. So in getting ready to close, I'll ask you, what could you do for the next 20 minutes, 1/72nd of your day, to put your heart's highest priority top of your list, to let your primal scream back on stage to where it belongs, front and center. And for all the people who go, oh, that's just narcissistic, thank you very much. Oh, that's just selfish. 1/72nd of your day, you can't afford to be selfish for 1/72nd, one little sliver of your day? Yes, you can. Oh, that's just hedonistic. Thank you. Keep the compliments coming. What did I say last week? Chief, good morning. Nice to see you. Larry Fleming, always nice to see your name pop up. Thank you so very much. Right? Well, a fun fact. We don't care. 1/72nd of our day. And here's the thing, is a quote we mentioned earlier in the week. A smile. It's free therapy. If you put your heart's highest priority top of your list, 1/72nd of your day, just a little sliver, you're going to notice, hey, I'm smiling. This is a pretty good gig. And that's why it's the greatest sales job in the world, because all we're doing in selling, in terms of selling an all-natural being, is selling us, selling you, on your all-natural being, on your natural resources, your grit, your agility, your adaptability, your stamina, your strength, however you want to spell out gas. And it makes it really easy, because I said, look, 20 minutes, if I'm wrong, you'll know in like 7, right? We just said 20 because, it's just 20-minute victories, right? But you'll know right away if that puts your heart's highest priority top of your list. Good morning to you too, Chief. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to get ready to get out of here starting on Monday. It's kind of like a soft goal. Starting on Monday, we're going to be going to 58 minutes here on All Natural Being in the mornings. Henry Noel is going to be supplying some content, which if you haven't had a chance to check out his Facebook page yet, you should do that. Henry Noel, he's putting up some of the audio riffs, really powerful stuff. We'll be doing 58 minutes, and he'll be contributing a segment. Come on, we got a minute. You going to come in real quick? He's going to be contributing a segment, so I'm very excited about that. Another guest here in the studio. You're going to say good morning to everyone? All right.
Good morning.
Say good morning. There you go. You can see over there, but look straight ahead. There's the camera right there. All right. Very good. I'll see you in just a little bit, buddy. All right. Okay, see you in a little bit too. So have an absolutely fantastic day, and be thinking about what are some of the segments you may want to provide. Alan, nice to see you as always. Henry says, we are all made perfect. Ego needs the spotlight and pushes us to find, judge, and ridicule the physical differences, and we fall for it. Then I'm with you, Henry. Then let's just say, let's stop falling for it. Thank you, John, very much. I will tell him that you said good morning. And Alan, nice to see you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend, depending upon where you are in the world. Maybe already getting into it. And we'll be back Monday morning with our first 58-minute show. And don't forget, also at ipmnation.com/ANB now, 24-hour programming. So Henry and I are working, and Sue and Henry and I are working on getting in content from people that want to have their artistry, if you will. Thank you, Ian, very much. Great to catch you live as well. Henry, I'll tell him you said hello. So if there's content that you think, if there's content that you want on our Spin to Win wisdom wheel, your mantra, it's kind of like a salad bar where you make your own salad. Well, this is make your own mantra where you can come in, we'll put it on, and then that will become a portion of the show. So we're working on all that all weekend long, but we'll be ready to go Monday morning. So thank you all so very much for joining us. Thank you, whether you're listening on ipmnation.com or you're catching the rebroadcast on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Thank you so very much. It really is an honor to be able to hang out with you and to remind you day in and day out, don't be clothed in crankiness. You're pretty special as you are. And all we're suggesting is when you let some of the marble fall away, that statue of a hero or a heroine is already in you. And your soul wants a chance to shine. That I'm absolutely certain of. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you again so very much. Thank you, Kenny and the good folks at The Mountain. If you get a chance to check out themountain.com, don't forget tryh2.com. Molecular hydrogen made all the difference in the world in my recovery. All right, thank you all so very much. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you bright and early Monday morning.
IPMNation.com.